some of the YouTube videos, they would put heat on at this time and stretch it around the edges. Every time I've ever tried that, I end up causing a whole lot of trouble. And what I mean by that is I end up with bubbles. I end up with the material ripping and having to do it all over again. So I like a nice stretch with no heat. We're going to find our tape, which is right here. Now again, I'm going to be peeling this up, and that is how I'm going to be creating my little pattern. So I'm going to make a cut right here into my 3M material because it grabbed my tape. All right, so I just made a little cut on the wrap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick, hopefully you can see this in the film, I'm going to try and get this little white hair right here, which is my thread, loose from the tape. First I'm trying with my fingernail, and I was a success. So if you can see that, hopefully you can, there is a little piece of thread dangling right there on my fingertip. That thread is what I'm going to hold on to and pull whenever I'm pulling in the video. So again, hopefully I won't be off camera, but I'm going to take my material. Now I'm going to remove this little plastic piece, and this is a protective film that goes over it. I'm not too worried about the bubbles up here because we're not going to be using that material. So I'm grabbing this little piece here. Sometimes I have used a pair of pliers to grab onto it. It makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes I don't have to. I should have cut this a little bit longer, but all right, as you start to see, it's going through there, and hopefully you can see this. I am pulling that, and it pulls the material, makes a nice straight line. So we're going through, it's going all the way down, and voila. All right. This actually worked better than it has in the past, so it's being nice to me, I guess, because I'm on video. Doesn't want to see me freak out. So I'm just pulling away. If you notice that little red strip there comes with it. And there's my nice edge. I'm going to take my finger, rub over it. Now when you first peel out this little clear plastic, it does make this kind of tacky. So do be careful that you're not scratching it with your fingers or any other material that's around here. I'm going to take my knife. It's always good to make sure that you have a brand new, fresh, sharp blade. And sorry if my hands are wobbling, but I'm going to make a nice little trimmed edge right here. All right, I probably went off camera there. I'm very sorry if I did. All right. Now we've got a little wadded mess right here, so I'm just gonna cut, trim, and edge as best as possible. Alright, so I'm just peeling that back. Alright, so I went back through, trimmed everything, made sure we had nice edges. The only spot we have a little bit of trouble with is right here on this end. Make sure everything's cleaned up, and we're going to start on this little spot right here. That is our opening. We're going to start pressing it in, trying to form it as much as possible before we start cutting. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to cut right along from that edge to that edge. Try and leave just a little bit to play with. So now we're going back to the other side. Start pressing, rolling it around. Turn around. We're going to pull and stick it to the edge. Hopefully you can see this on camera. and my fat fingers aren't covering it up. So we're gonna pull and stretch. Pull and stretch. Just working our way all around that little window right there. Alright, so we're going to trim this part up. And just in case you're wondering, I am cutting into the plastic just a little bit. I don't press so hard that it actually leaves a deep gash, but it does scratch the surface of it. So if you ever take this off, you will have a scratch there, if you're doing it like me. We're gonna have a little bolt over it going in there, so I'm going to press it in, and I'm gonna make this easier than usual. I'm not gonna try and stretch it around. I'm just gonna do the shape of the circle. So press it in there, and here's where you gotta be careful. I don't want to overcut and make it look stupid. I'm just edging around the circle. Again, the reason that I'm doing this is there's a little plastic cap that goes on there. You will not even see this. It's time for the heat guns. We're going to take it. I put it on low. There's the high, but leave it on low. We're just going to go over it, get it warm, especially this part. Don't want to leave it on there for real long for two reasons. There's plastic underneath this. This is a sticker. The sticker's cheaper than the plastic is. So we don't want to harm that plastic. I've got a few bubbles going. With this heat, I'm going to turn it off, let it cool just for a few split seconds, and I'll go back over it, being real careful not to press too hard now.